Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Duluth, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, Jacksonville, Florida, Tempe, Arizona, and Burbank, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets. I just wanted to show you this.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You know? What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
Say it with more feeling.
What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
Can you say? Now make it your own. Just make it your own.
And see what we believe can be unburdened by what has been. What now, can be.
Say it sitting down.
Unburdened by what has been. What
now, can you say it in a way that distracts Bill Clinton from checking out the pussy behind the camera?
Can be unburdened by what has been.
Can you say it in a mask?
Can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
Say it now like you're about to cry.
Who we can be, unburdened by who we have been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
Now, say it like you just took your shoes off.
Where we can be, unburdened by where we have been, and unburdened by where we are right now. What can be.
Say it like in a mask again.
Unburdened by what has been. What can be.
Say it like you're drunk.
Unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What could be unburdened by what had been. What can be.
Now yell it.
Unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
Unburdened by what has been, believing in what can be. What can be unburdened by what has been. 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 What could be unburdened by what had been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened
Two
by
masks.
what has been. What can be, what should be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. See what can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. Unburdened by what has been and knowing what can be. Have a sense of vision about what can be unburdened by what has been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. What can be.
Everybody.
Unburdened by what has
This
been.
calls for a Venn diagram.
What can be unburdened by what has been. What could be unburdened by what had been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. Where we can be unburdened by where we've been. What was possible unburdened by what has been. What can be 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 unburdened by what has been. What can be.
Stop this!
Okay.
What is going on? Jimmy! Jimmy, I think she's starting to make a lot of sense, man. I mean, it's starting to come together for me. It's really starting to, gel.
You know how you can repeat a word over and over until it doesn't make any sense? This didn't make sense the first fucking time she said it.
She's like the new what's up?
That is the point with Kamala. Kamala is something they've been working towards since Eisenhower. to get a president that doesn't even have the illusion that they run the military. That is the point of Kamala. The last person to try to really run the military was Kennedy. And nobody ever really tried again until, frankly, Trump. That is really their issue with Trump. He gave them their tax cuts. He did all that, right? So what's the real issue? Is it the tweets? It's not the tweets. It's the military. It's the military. It's that he did not do everything they wanted him to do with the military. Why? As soon as Hillary lost, they convened a meeting in the Hamptons and rallied around Kamala Harris. Why did they want her that bad? Then in 2020, they run her. She's repulsive. She's repulsive. Now, according to, we interviewed Caleb Maupin, the original schedule for the DNC in 2020 had a slot for VP and for Kamala Harris. Biden did not want her. Why did they lean so hard on someone so repulsive she couldn't even make it to Iowa? Because she is what they have always dreamed of, a puppet, a complete puppet who has no illusion of being in charge. And they got her. They got her. Nobody would vote for her, and she's still on the verge of becoming the president. That is how much control you actually have over this government. Without one vote, just as a brand, selling her as a brand, they're about to make her the president. All this woke stuff we've been talking about tonight, what Jesse's talking about, they've been softening the public up for that for decades, making them stupid, making them think that woke versus anti-woke, all this culture shit. Oh, you can be fat if you want. That's all aimed at making you so stupid that Jesse can get up there and say to you, yeah, I've always dreamed of seeing a woman in the White House. And that's supposed to make some kind of sense to you. That was the whole point. Kamala is the end game of a psyop that's been run on the American public for decades.
Point of counterpoint. Please, no applause. Point of counterpoint. Please, no loud clapping, jazz hands. I think what Kamala is trying to say is we must stop dwelling on the blowjobs we gave in the past and look forward to the blowjobs we will give and can give and are giving.
You know, I just think she's, trying to be an actress. Like, she studied Meisner, The Method, Adler, but she's still not believable.
No. Well, here's what the Babylon Bee says. After 2 weeks with Kamala, Tim Walz announces he has signed back up with the National Guard and requested deployment to Iraq.
That's a misinformation. Come on.
That's the Babylon
How dare
Bee.
you, Jimmy?
I don't even know if there's a war going on there, but I'm willing to go, wow, wow, wow. That's my catchphrase. It doesn't exist in real life.
Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Duluth, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, Jacksonville, Florida, Tempe, Arizona, and Burbank, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets.